Hey, this is Debbie, and I am here today with my amazing co-host,
Tricia.
And we are here with our podcast, Your Life Redefined. This is the place where we talk about those things in life that are nothing but opportunities where we get to do what, Tricia?
Redefine things that may not seem like they're the best thing for us, but guess what? Nothing happens to us, it happens for us. And that's what we're here redefining.
What do you mean dating?
Yeah. I got married. I didn't know there was such thing as dating.
What's that? What's that? What do you mean dating?
Yeah. Especially date multiple people at one time. That never happened. It was like, oh, well, we're sleeping together. God says you got to get married.
This is just a story. I just have to share with you this story. I have the 10-year-old granddaughters. And you don't see life through, because you got your granddaughters, right? Well, one show I watch, and my daughter used to watch it all the time. We call it no brain TV. So with what I do for a living, I have to have these no brain. It just requires nothing of me, and I can judge the hell out of the show because my whole life is about helping people through their judgments, right? So I'll get these shows and I'm going, seriously, you're such an idiot. I'm just like, all at the
Oh, like 90 Day Fiance or something like that?
Well, so mine's The Bachelor.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love Judge Judy. Huh.
So my daughter would watch The Bachelor, I would, and then her and I would get on the phone. Can you believe? Now, what about this one? But it's just, there's no judgment. We'd walk away laughing. It's our no-brain TV. Well, there was the recent Bachelor, and it was super funny. I called my daughter and I said, "Are you watching The Bachelor?" She goes, "Mom, I no longer can watch that show anymore." And I said, "What?" Well, her husband used to all the time, "Rachel, turn that off." And she's like, "No, it's my no-brain TV." Well, one night, sure enough, there's her two twins, the twin girls, looking at it over the couch. And they looked at her and they said, "Mom, it's okay to date 25 women?" She went, "No, it's not okay." She never saw it from their perspective. And what really got her was she goes, "I would never want my daughters to give themselves permission that that's okay to even do that." And it's not, again, it's not a good, bad, right, or wrong. It's the message that we're wanting to give to our children.
But why isn't it okay to date 25 people at once?
Exactly.
If not, I'm going to, go the opposite direction of me. And I thought you had to marry every dang one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on. So I don't think well, I was about to say I never. Never mind.
Next conversation. Okay, done with that. How'd we redefine that?
I was going to say I never really dated two people at once, but not that they do anyway.
Right. Shh. We're not supposed to talk about any of that kind of stuff.
Well, this cut.
Yeah. Done.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I look back on all of my stuff and some of the decisions I made. Woo, I'm glad I got to redefine. Because, here's the thing about redefining. Once you redefine, guess what you get to do? You get to redefine again.
Oh, it's never, ever, ever ending. Thank goodness. But you know what? The bad thing is that when you get something that you really like and you want it to last forever, guess what? It's not. It's not. But I have had downloads before that told me that whenever you're in the now moment that you just adore and that you love, make sure you take like a mental snapshot of it that you can file again for later retrieval when you are having one of those bad times.
Yeah,
to bring it back
good.
up, almost like even with the sights and smells. I can remember some of those snapshots that I took along the way. One of them was when I was married to my first husband, and we were in Jamaica, and I had never been anywhere outside of my only vacation spots had been Florida and Six Flags.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh
I
my
had
gosh.
never, hardly. I remember standing out and looking at how beautiful it was, and thinking, I want to always remember this because I really thought it was a one-time thing. I didn't know I was going to end up. I could still picture it
Wow.
exactly. Isn't that
Yeah,
something?
that's good. That's good.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. Something you get that you really, really like. I remember like getting a haircut in a style that you think, oh my God, this, I wish I could have this forever. But it doesn't freaking stay. And I remember thinking, I wish there was a pill you could take that stopped your hair growth and stopped everything right then. Because then you could keep that same. Then it would
Same.
be like your wig or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
Okay.
happen.
Change is our constant friend. Constant friend.
Hmm.
Yep. And that was actually part of my intention with the breath work. It's clarity around how all of this, because I know it's all in sync and together, because I don't want to compartmentalize. This is your
It's
life.
it is your life.
Exactly. It is your life. And so I was like wanting clarity for myself for,
Mhm.
and I want it to seamlessly flow in and out. So as this expansion class download came to me, I saw you on there as Tricia with Breath of Abundance, and you and me introducing you, and you even for when they're expanding and they feel like off, because the whole thing's going to be about aligning to that energy and what are you expanding.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if yes, yes,
Okay.
whatever
So
you wanted me to do on it.
yeah, I think it'll be really cool. I last year I never would have done this. Never, ever, ever would have done. I struggled when my co-coach Janelle asked me to offer a free class because I had past experiences of free classes just being a waste of time. All of them were always a waste of time. To
Hmm.
where it was like, no, I'm not going to do this. If people want it, money is the exchange, is the energy exchange. And I felt like I was always being taken advantage of.
What about do? What about when you take a free class? Do you ever take a free class, or do you feel like they're a waste of time too?
It's interesting you said that because I had even gotten to where energetically I would not take the free class. I didn't hesitate paying for classes. I do not hesitate paying for the subscription, paying for the service that I order, because I believe that paying somebody for that is they're worth that. They're
Well, you
worth
know where that comes from too.
okay,
You
tell
get
me.
you get what you pay for.
You do.
So
You
if you
do.
pay zero for something,
Mhm.
you feel like, well, I don't like charging zero for anything because it feels like it doesn't have value.
Right. All of that was like that for me at the beginning of this year. And so I stepped in because I would really struggle. So many people would bounce around and take all of these free classes in hopes of building their class that they then in turn would want to draw money, put out for people to pay money for. So me offering this expansion class for 2025 is I am putting it all out there. They're going to get it. They're going to have an opportunity naturally to join after and actually get with me voice to voice like this. But the class is 3 days of just expansive material of them really redefining.
Well, the reason I just sat up like that, the
Tell me.
cards that I drew, the three
Yes.
cards, making a difference now.
Normalizing it now, which I think the normalizing is so freaking powerful because while for someone like you, I'm not going to normalize anything, I'm way out there. What I've learned through this journey with and I'm like, wow.
So my normalizing for me
Yeah.
is it's yes, everything that we're doing right now to me is normalizing, and I am one of these people that's probably on social media that
Are you
much.
on there a lot? Yeah.
When I'm going to bed, I'm
Are you?
I'm on there, and I've noticed that my whole feed is completely 180 degrees from what it used to be. Like if I had to compare, you'd think it was two
Yeah.
different people. So all of mine is positive, uplifting classes on doing better.
Yeah.
Metatron,
Wow.
the information that's coming in is what I receive from Metatron. I'm seeing it everywhere from different people saying it just in different ways. I
Yeah.
mean, it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
normalized.
Yeah. And that's, yeah. And so normalize isn't about us. It's normalizing it for them. Right. So
Mhm.
they hear it and they're going to, they'll
If they want
receive it
to.
as truth. When you've sent just in the past few days, when I've read different ones that you've done, they are so in line with, for instance, this piece about expansion, it's about aligning right to that energy. And then boom, you'll post one about align. And I'm like, yeah, it's
And
awesome.
expansion is just like,
Yeah.
wow. So, have you heard about the new Earth? Have you heard much talk about that or seen much about that?
No.
So, what it's been, and people apparently have been talking about it for many, many years. It's
I mean,
not
I've
like,
heard the thing of called a new earth, but I mean, I don't know what you're
well, for
relating it to.
at some point in time, people thought, oh, there's actually going to be a whole new planet Earth, you know?
Mhm.
But what it is, I believe, and this does ring some true, and this is out there even for us. This is normalizing something to this is out there. But it's that you kind of like what we mentioned last week when we were talking about the energy. So like you won't even know there's going to be people that are on the catabolic side, there's going to be people
Yeah.
on the anabolic side, and they won't ever cross paths. It's almost like, so friends will fall away, spouses may fall away, and I'm not talking they die. It's just that whoop, it's
Yeah.
like,
No. I so resonate with that. So resonate with that. I caught myself this weekend. I mean, if you want to go through a story, I have to catch myself
yeah.
now when it comes to catabolic energy. That I have become so introspective because it's just where I live. And people will tell me all the time, don't overthink it. And it's not that I'm overthinking it, I'm feeling
Over
it.
feeling it, and there's no such thing as over
Mm-mm,
feeling it.
mm-mm. And so I'm
Correct.
feeling it. And so, therefore, if there's any, I don't even know how to put the word, if it's just any kind of tick, and I love the visual you gave me around the breath to just go in and to see it and to breathe through it. That, by the way, is very helpful to be able to do that because I struggle, and you can give me your insights on this. If someone is choosing to experience catabolic energy, so they're choosing catabolic energy, whether it's in their response, their
It's always a
attitude,
choice. Always a
it's
choice.
always a choice, right? So if they're choosing it, going, oh, I mean, it happened between me and my husband this weekend. I feel that I have to stay at this certain level energetically. And if I have a dip, and I'm sorry, I am human and I'm going to have my dips. But if
Of
I
course.
dip, I I want to be around people. This is what I love about you. If I dip, you know that's where I don't want to stay. And so because you know that that's not where I want to stay, you're not going to one grovel there with me. You're going to kick me in the ass and say, "Get up here."
I'm not gonna kick you in the
No,
ass.
but I'm saying spiritually kick me in the
Mhm.
ass. You're going to hold the space knowing that I'm coming back home, for lack of a better word, because where I resonate is anabolic. Does that make sense? And to
Oh,
where
1,000%. And
yes, and
something you
that's
said
where the
earlier,
go ahead.
I have
Yeah.
to say that something you said earlier is that used to you would go down to the level of
Yeah.
somebody. Now, and it's not that I don't have sympathy for somebody when they are going through that, but you can't get sick enough to help sick people. You
No.
can't get
That's right.
poor enough to help poor people, and you can't go down to somebody's level and grovel with them. All you can do is hold
Hold the
steady,
space.
and they'll come back to their natural state, not
Yeah.
my natural state. That your natural state
Yeah.
is of neutral. It's stopping paddling upstream. It's dropping the oars and just letting it ride,
Yeah.
because you will always return to your natural state. And your natural state, everybody's natural state is one of well-being.
Agreed. It is.
Sometimes they've practiced the not well-being for so long they think that's their natural state, but really it's just holding them in that really
Mhm.
bad. I had a
Mhm.
download the other day about this. It's kind of like you get rusted, you almost rusted into that place,
Yeah. Yeah.
But truly, if you'll float back, you'll always, like a cork held under the water, it's always going to pop back
Going to
up.
pop back up. Yep. Absolutely. I resonate with that 100%. I agree, 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 agree.
Well, to me, the good thing about being more aware of how it feels in your body when something's going on, we don't spiral. I tend to not spiral out of control. Whereas used to, I would go, whoo if I went off the deep end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, as soon as I start to feel bad, I'll think, is this how I want to feel? So I can nip it in the bud, like Barney Fife
Nip
used to
it.
say, nip it,
I
nip
call
it,
it
nip
nipping.
it
I actually
in the
have a
bud,
worksheet on that. I have a worksheet on that, how to nip that stuff in the bud.
nip it in the
That's
bud.
all that introspective stuff that I've done. I just create a worksheet for it for my clients. Well, because
So
people actually need that, in all honesty. It's ease because part of what I love doing is teaching people to be introspective. Tricia, we're not introspective today. We're not. We go out, we Google it, we search it, we get it. Introspection, though, and giving yourself time to be introspective allows you the opportunity to redefine, to choose again, you become the observer, you can become the,
I'm going to make it even, to me, even
yeah, go ahead.
a little more simple is because introspective people go, oh, what does that mean? That's still sort of outside. That's still more like in their head.
Mm-hmm.
Your body is so freaking smart. You got a whole universe inside this body, and your cells are
Mm-hmm.
responding before your brain even knows what's going on. So when you feel the when you feel this or when you feel the something, but we don't pay attention to it because it's so normal that you don't notice it.
Yep.
So the first thing is to do one of those meditations like what you were just talking about, where you take the light inside your body and you
Mm.
actually start noticing, wow, okay, you mean that pain in my shoulder is really attached to something that happened to me a long time ago. And instead of me going, like just taking a pill, analgesic to, go, what is that? Where is that coming from? Because if you ignore it, it's going to get bigger every time. If you
Yeah.
ignore it, either your emotions are going to go or you'll get a dis-ease because you are not at ease in that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. And that's what I mean by introspective. So thank you for being further voice with that, because introspective to me is not in the head. It's just the deeper it's all to me. I believe everything has a message. Everything. Why a grasshopper shows up has a message. Why a dragonfly shows up, it has a message. I just believe that. And we can choose to be in it, or we can choose to be busy and be in something else. It doesn't matter. It all comes full circle. You don't miss anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think even like repetitive numbers,
Yeah.
obviously, my car tag is one one
Yep.
one one three three three. They're all little just messages. They're little
That's it. That's it.
signposts to say, hey, okay, you're all right. You're doing
Yep.
good. Pay
That's all right.
attention. But energetically in our body too. It's
Yep.
very important.
Yep.
Today's
Mm.
download is guess what it is? The
What?
power of focused emotion expanding your reality.
You can't make that shit up.
Okay, listen, can I read it to you?
Yes,
This this
please
is
do.
this is this morning's download. All is expanding at all times. All is energy. This can be tested in a laboratory with the smallest devices of measurement or in your own experience by noticing all around you, whether it's situations or things. A flower that is planted spreads to other flowers of the same kind, and emotions spread to more of the same. It's known to those who choose to be aware that any thought held specifically will produce more of the same. The energy that produces the thought turns into feelings, emotions, and ultimately things. This expansion continues to a point where it breaks off and begins again, much like mitosis. It's all expanding. Your emotions, if you're able to identify them, are reproducing in the same way that your cells do. This does not mean that once any emotion is felt, it cannot be changed. Rather, it suggests that you can control it through your focus. If you have an inkling of emotion that you would like to amplify, continue to think about it. It will expand. It has to. However, the same principle applies to feelings you do not want. If you focus on them, they will also grow. The better it gets, the better it gets. And similarly, the worse it gets, the worse it gets. As long as you're focusing on it, it will continue to grow and expand. You can turn your attention away to allow it to break off, split into smaller parts, or diffuse altogether like a balloon that deflates over time. Your focus is the hot air that blows and expands. Start many such thoughts as you flit about in your mind, but concentrate on what you want more of. It's simple. Test it. Hold your attention until it is felt within, as if it is so. Return to it often, but always turn away if it does not feel right. Go back to it when it does. Your focused attention and your good feelings combined will unlock any code, no matter how complex. Focus, feel, and fan the flames. Worry not, as it is in opposition to your desires. Feel rather than think.
So if I could literally, this whole entire weekend, every single word that you have is exactly what I was working on this. Literally yesterday, I did the 7 levels of energy of expansion. I did everything about focus, everything. And here's what happened is there was one point that I knew you were to be a part of this workshop. Old rules goes, oh, I don't know if Tricia will be interested in that. Okay, old. And I had to sit with it and go, stop, right? Redefine that. And I knew the confirmation would be there. Well, that's how the confirmation came. That's it. It's it. Because my whole purpose for doing the 3 days, I want to give them the bonus. But when they want more, right? I want to give them this opportunity to expand. The more is the space. It's where they meet you, they interact with you, they interact with us. That's then the more. And for those that want to expand, that's the community that we're not calling it in. We're standing holding our light. They have the opportunity to just step in the light.
So, Deb, this is what I know is that
What do you know? Tell me what you know.
what I know. I say no a lot, don't I?
You do. I
Um,
love it. I'm glad you know it because you can tell us all. Teach
well,
us.
it's just knowing for me, and I never want to put that on anybody else. But a knowing is just a belief. A belief is just something, a thought you've thought over and over, and it becomes a belief. A knowing is when you believe it so deeply, there's nothing that could ever change your
Yeah.
knowing. Your beliefs can be changed, your knowing cannot. So this is what I know to be true for me is that me interacting with people, yes, it's breath work. Breath is the bridge for me that leads me to the clarity, but my interactions are more for, like you just said, I'm going to hold this space and I might question because I can see the in somebody and I might question them. They'll come to their own answers.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And so it is. And that is where the divide is so different, Tricia, for me today than what it was before. I found my identity in providing something for someone. And if they didn't get the change, I wasn't good enough.
Mm.
I didn't do it good enough. The worksheet wasn't good enough. The class wasn't good enough. And that is what's gone. The vision is exactly from that knowing. It's just be, right? Yes, I see it as a light. I see that as a light coming out. How people step into that light is their journey, their story,
It's where they are.
yes, it's
I do want to point this out to you though, because when you say from here, that's from your chest, that's from your heart, right? The light that's coming out from you. But when
yeah,
you have the self
it's
doubt,
up here. Yeah.
is throat.
And then, so, my history, my throat chakra from coaching school, all of that. It has always been throat because remember, my voice was never good enough, ever. I was always shushed. I was always told, be seen, not heard. I was always told, you don't have anything worth saying. Stand over there. I want to be the one on the stage. So, yes, it's about leveling. I agree with you 100%.
There's some, we could do a bridge session, which is only probably 20, 30 minutes.
Well,
And
you tell me how to book or whatever with you, and I will take it's through your website. Isn't there a booking through your website? So listen, do something for me as we wrap up today. I want you to take us through an exit breath.
Okay.
Is that
Absolutely.
okay?
Yeah. And I'm still going to do the coherence breath. Today is the coherence breath. There's many, many different kinds, but I feel so much better. Thank you. So a lot of it is the conversation that I had with you, but it did take a little bit to get to this point. So another good thing to do this right before you fall asleep, because it does help relax you to fall asleep. So let's breathe out with the coherence breath. We're going to take a deep breath in for 5 through our nose. Exhale through your nose for 5. Soften your gaze. Inhale through your nose for 5. And exhale through your nose for 5. And I love you so much.
I love you too.
Do that before you go to sleep tonight. Give it a try for 5 minutes. See what happens. Thanks for listening to this episode of Your Life Redefined. Hopefully it'll help you in redefining your life situations. Reach out to us, send us messages, and actually, if you would, just like and share this so you can get it to some more of your friends and we can continue doing this.